Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the most celebrated and long-running franchises of all time. For over 30 years, the Sega mascot has been an icon of gaming. Despite the ups and downs regarding the quality of the products he's been a part of, particularly the games, Sonic still lives on. But why? There have been hundreds, if not thousands, of video games starring Antro mascots. Some good, some forgotten, some bubsy.
What could possibly go wrong?
But over all of them, Sonic has remained one of the most popular and relevant to popular culture and the furry fandom. I'm convinced part of the reason as to why this is because we, as a society, can't let this character's design go to waste. Don't believe me? I'm here to explain why. I'm Metal Iguana and welcome to Y.I.F.F, your interesting furry fandom. Yes, that name took me a lot of work. Let's go. Sonic was first conceived in 1990 when Sega was looking for a mascot to rival Nintendo and Mario. They developed an internal contest to create said mascot. Among the entries of the contest, Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima created a blue super fast hedgehog that they later named Sonic for his super speed. Originally named Mr. Needle Mouse, his design was based on Mickey Mouse, a color scheme taken from the Sega logo and Santa Claus, and an attitude-filled personality taken from Bill Clinton and Michael Jackson. Sonic design became iconic almost immediately, and you can see why. The silhouette is recognizable, the shape and color make it easy for a kid to draw from memory, and the ton of money Sega also paid to have his face plastered all over everything they could, Sonic a worldwide icon. Mainly in America, where Sonic the Hedgehog became the packing game with the Sega Genesis, which helped Sega become the first true competitor against Nintendo. At this stage, Sonic didn't have much in terms of history, personality, which is fair, I mean, makes sense. Mario has been going longer than Sonic and he has never gone deeper than he should, and some argue Sonic shouldn't either, which brings me to my next point. As I said before, Sega decided to exploit Sonic's popularity by licensing his image to other companies to make products off of him. One of these products was a TV series produced by Dick Animation and aired on ABC. It was supposed to be a lighthearted comedic show about the Archie comic book series to go along with it. However, before it began production, Dick thought it would be great to make extra episodes to sell to syndication, basically making it a daily show. But ABC rejected them, and rather than give up on the idea, producer Robbie London decided instead to make two shows. One to show during the week and one to show on Saturday morning to fulfill the ABC contract. And to differentiate them, they give each one their unique tone. The syndicated show became The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, an extremely comedic slapstick-based, Tom and Jerry-esque show with some hilariously out-of-place moral bumpers at the end.
Kids, there's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good. It's your body. No one has the right to touch you if you don't want them to. So what do? First, you say no. Then, you get out of there. Most important, you gotta tell someone you trust. Like your parents, your teacher, a police officer.
While the other one had a darker, edgier story, a rarity at the time, especially on cartoons for children. But out of the two, Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic Sat AM, as is most famously known, became a cult hit and today is considered one of the best versions of Sonic and its mythos. One aspect of this show that is divisive to this day is Sally Acorn, Sonic's love interest from the show, and perhaps the most famous character that spawned from this subset of the franchise.
But if you want Sonic to fall for this gal, you gotta get the fans to fall for her first. Seriously, out of all the Freedom Fighters and the extended cast from the world of Sonic, none have the extensive backstory as fleshed out as Sally. And in certain cases, not even Sonic himself gets this much attention. Even when they got something out the door in terms of a design, they still kept twiddling around with the colors. She was blonde with red fur for a mini comic series, then pink with black hair, which would remain for the pilot of the Sat AM series and the first year of Archie comics. Pink Sally, while not my favorite design, certainly feels a little more in line with the more stylized critters of the games, but her personality was still not as refined as it would be. In the pilot, she was still smart and capable, but she was missing something. Ah, there it is. Sex appeal. But these are intentional design choices. As Pink, her hair was a solid black, usually up in a ponytail or headset, or I don't know, sometimes it's just like that. And she has a little heart shape on her chest fur, but otherwise she still had that weird toddler potato body like the other characters. But then they went and gave her dark eyelids that look a lot like eyeshadow, almond-shaped eyes, and an hourglass shape to that little body under that giant head. And her hair just looks a little wilder, a little more rebellious, with that bang dipping down over her face. Just a really strong 90s hairstyle. Also, weirdly, one of the few female Sonic characters without clothes.
If I had anything to add to that, it would be how influential her design actually was for the Sonic series. Sally was the first main Sonic character to break the mold. A big complaint most people have with Sally's design is that she doesn't really look like a Sonic character. And yeah, to be fair, at this point a Sonic character still wasn't defined, so one could make several variations on the design. But even with that, I still think Sally was one of the most influential designs in the Sonic series. One proof? Check out Bunny. Bunny Rabbit is the other main female character introduced in the ZIM series, and unlike Sally, her design wasn't as alluring as Sally. Now that doesn't mean she was badly designed or a bad character, on the contrary, she is the second female character from the show that became a staple of this version of Sonic. And as this version of the show continued to live on in subsequent Archie comics, as the main series of games struggled to gain their own identity, the comics bounce off from different writers and artists, each one giving the series their own tone and feel. One of the most famous and important cases of this is issue 130, in which all the original Freedom Fighters were introduced with new designs, including Sally and Bunny, and well, damn. This version of the characters, drawn by artist Y.I.F.F, are a unique take on the concept of female Sonic characters. They are a lot more human looking, and yet you can see them until they're Sonic characters. Sally and Bunny designs have a lot to criticize about, but I feel they work because A, they were already at least partially designed with this philosophy in mind, and B, they actually went there. A big problem I have with Sonic characters from around this time is that they're not Sonic characters, they're humans with animal heads on. This design actually bothered to mix the female anatomy with the Sonic style and managed to look appealing. And as you can see, that takes a lot of effort to do. Even though later comics the characters change again to look in line with the games and be more like the games in general, these designs are still alive in several ways. But I'm gonna put a pin on that for now.
When I talk about how the Sonic the Hedgehog fan community is what it is, I think we all know what I'm talking about, but at the same time it can be hard to identify a single genesis point for this happening. I think one part is the old Jaleel White Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon where you have to figure Princess Sally definitely fur-pilled a lot of impressionable young minds. Or perhaps it was Sonic Adventure, the game where Sonic went from being, basically a typical mascot character to being something more human. But I think perhaps the biggest factor was the lesser-known series Sonic Underground, which only lasted a season but had a big influence. Now that I'm examining this, I feel like whoever designed these Sonic characters was a furry themselves, because as you pointed out in the chat, they gave Princess Sonia some big-ass hips, which leads me to believe that, the person who created this character got very excited by that idea. Adding more theory to the fact that Sonic Underground is the true nexus point for the current state of the Sonic fandom. Not nexus point, the true origin, the genesis point.
Now I haven't talked much about the actual Sonic games so far, and that's because they're mostly secondary to the point I'm trying to make. But to be fair, the Sonic video game lore wasn't really that important back then. I mean, yes there was, but the storytelling was limited by the technology and most of the backstory and character growth were background elements to not weigh down the fast pace the games were famous for. But it was clear that at some point around 1998 and 1999, the developers wanted to grow the Sonic world and give more focus to the plot of the game. Enter Sonic Adventure. Starting live as Sonic RPG, Adventure was sort of an apology Yuji Naka wanted to give fans after the previous years he felt the Sonic brand was being neglected. Sonic Adventures was Sonic Team's attempt to go next level and bring Sonic and his world into 3D. Not just gameplay way, but the whole cast and story got a lot more depth and character. I mean, it's not Nier Automata, but the developers clearly wanted to go next level. The main evidence for this are the designs. Character designer Yuji Uekawa redesigned the main cast into a more modern look, mainly inspired from Walt Disney and Looney Tunes and graffiti. And I gotta be honest, I love this art style. I'm not even sure I can put into words why, but modern Sonic design is just really appealing to me. Somehow this specific combination of style and coolness just hit all the right spots with me. I do gotta address something. Recently people, particularly artists, have complained that Sonic designs are too hard to get dynamic poses out of. And I agree mostly. I mean, I still think the designs are really great. I love them. But I agree that the Sonic base could use some changes, mainly around the limbs and the proportion of their bodies and maybe even their body shapes. Nothing major, just a few official changes would be nice. So for me personally, I feel like if you wanna check out how the Sonic design can be great, check out the female design. Ha! Did you think that the previous section about how sexy Sally Acorn was, it was just me being horny? Cause it was, but it was also a setup for this. I'm not even gonna pretend to hide my cards. I have always liked the Sonic character design, but the female character design have always been attractive to me, because I believe the Sonic character design worked better in female form. And to prove that point, I have chosen 4 Sonic Girl: Rouge the Bat, Y.I.F.F the Swallow, Blaze the Cat, and Lienda. As I said, most of the female Sonic characters still look similar to the male ones, and there's nothing wrong with that. The Sonic base is the standard for a reason, but the female characters always seem to have the extra effort put into them, and that could be seen from the beginning. Sonic Adventure give us Amy Rose Reed design, which already show a big change to the Sonic base. She and Cream are similar in appearance to their male counterparts, except with clothes, but looking deeper you realize they are already different from what a typical character creator could make. Adventure also gives us Tikal. With clothes inspired by ancient Peruvian civilization, her model is very different from the rest of the cast. Maybe the first official Sonic female character to break the mold. I mean, she doesn't look out of place, but it's clear that between characters like Tikal, Gamma, and Jess, even Big, you can tell Sonic Team was starting to get more comfortable with experimenting with what designs of characters they could make. Sonic Adventure 2 they add 2 new characters to the Sonic canon. One of them is Shadow the Hedgehog and the other is Rouge the Bat. Originally called Nails, she was created to be the opposite of Knuckles. Nothing is much to know about her creation other than she originally looked like this and now she looks like this. But we don't know how, but I would love to know. Rouge is the first character I really want to talk about. If you see her body, you can see that she's more human looking than the other female characters. This is because her Morgan/femme fatale persona of being an attractive female that uses sex appeal to get what she wants works better if the audience can understand why the characters in universe will feel that way about her. Point of talk about Rouge involves her design criticism. Some people say she's trying way too hard to be sexy and that she doesn't fit with the Sonic series. I see their point, but I disagree. Remember that being we put with Sally? Well, this is what I mean. Rouge and Sally seem to be weirdly connected. I don't mean it to be an intentional connection or anything, it seems more like the progression of the same concept. Both characters try to do a female, human, and yes, sexual look for Sonic characters, though Rouge has a better reason to go as far as she did. In my opinion, still you can very easily see both of them as part of an evolution design trend in the same series, and that's not the last time we'll talk about it. Another point about Rouge and several other female Sonic characters is that they wear different clothes. They could very easily just keep them the same clothes over and over, but they went the extra mile and give them different clothes. Party clothes, casual clothes, custom. It's a nice touch, and I like it. The second character I wanna talk about is Y.I.F.F the Swallow. This might seem like a weird character to talk about, but I think she helps represent another point I wanted to make. Well, for starter, she's not wearing a shirt. This is full bare chest, like original Sally. And yet there was no controversy when she was released. Hell, most people probably didn't even notice until I tell you right now, and that's because of the design. Honestly, she's low-key one of the most underrated designs in the whole series. I mean, she not only has the more female variation on the Sonic base like Rouge, but unlike her, Y.I.F.F changes are less about emphasizing her femininity and more about emphasizing her attitude. And I think it really pays off. Not only is her silhouette one of the most recognizable out of all of the Babylon Rouge, her body type is surprisingly unique. She's a fan favorite. What more can you ask for female characters? There's not much more I can say about her, other than, Sega, please make another Sonic Raiders game. The last one sucked because of your fault. Another character I can actually talk about more is Blaze the Cat. Originally appearing in Sonic Rush for the DS in 2005, she was the princess from another dimension where Sonic and Tails just happened to be teleported to. She was basically a Sonic clone, but she had fire powers instead of Sonic's nothing powers. Whatever, the point is, Blade was revealed to the world and she became a fan favorite immediately, mainly for her personality and design. Once again, she has a female Sonic base but was heavily modified to be more feminine, except again, it wasn't to accentuate her sexuality as much as it was to accentuate her femininity. She's supposed to be a royal princess, regal and commanding at the same time, and that was communicated through her design and attire. She is one of the most unique designed female characters that I ever seen in this whole Sonic series. She's fully clothed and according to the game manual she has breast envy. I just wanted to say I like that. Her attire is honestly one of my favorites. She mostly has purple and pink colors. Her tailcoat with trim are pretty nice. Her clear white pants make sure she's fully covered, which is pretty rare for a Sonic character. The tops of hair at the end of her clothes, her high heels, and the red gem on her forehead all make her design look interesting without looking over the sign. Speaking of her personality as an independent, strong-willed, powerful, sometimes cold princess, hard to open up with others and an apparent tragic backstory that takes care of business with an awesome power to control one of the elements, make her one of the most powerful. I like to see her as the other side of the Rouge Sally coin. Definitely made more feminine looking, but in a less sex-oriented way. I really don't know how to transition properly. Let's talk about Archie comics now. As I said before, after Sonic's IM was cancelled, the Archie comics went on and kept on expanding and changing their stuff, and apparently Sega wasn't even paying attention for a while, and this led to the comics having their own unique flavor of Sonic, very different from the game, adding and changing characters as to fit this new world. To exemplify this, I choose Lienda, first appearing in January of 1999 in Knuckles the Kid number 22, where she was called Commissar. She was created by Ken Penders and went on to become a recurring antagonist in the series, appearing several times, gaining more and more prominence as the series went on. She was strong, capable, and had a compelling backstory, and even though she was evil from beginning to end, she did develop as a character. Oh yeah, and she was fucking hot. Just like Rouge, she was designed to be a femme fatale archetype, but unlike her, she is more of a BDSM leather club with using dominatrix type. I just now realizing how that sounds, and yet it was done. Exactly like that. And it existed that way. Okay, she's not exactly a Sonic base, but she was made with a different design philosophy in mind. Still, I like to consider her and most of the Archie characters from her own design to be a sort of in-between Sally Acorn and Rouge the Bad type. She's more female looking, but not based upon the modern Sonic model. If not for the unfortunate legal snafu in which Archie was the one incompetent, we might have the chance to see her again, instead of... As I was saying, Sonic Modern or Adventure Era was a great time, but like most good things, this one couldn't last. Even though I've been showering this time with Race, at this point we all know what else was happening with the franchise. As great as the expectations were, most of it this age came to be known as the Dark Age for a good reason. The actual quality of the product, it was at best pretty good, but at worst it was a literal embarrassment. But after the 2010s, this era pretty much had to end, leading us into... In 2010, Sega decided to go back to basic by releasing two different games, Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Sonic Colors, two games that define how Sonic could be handled in the whole of the 2010. It was more of a light-hearted, not serious, fun...
Baldy nose hair!
unfunny version of Sonic. At the time, people loved it, and to be fair, yeah, it was a nice break for Sonic. I don't think the 2010s as a whole was just horrible for Sonic, or anything like that. In fact, there were great things to come out of it. But just like anything else, Sega does, the meta era of Sonic ended up getting really, really bad. Sega decided to go to a process I like to call hardcore selling out, and try to give Sonic identity for mainstream appeal. And to be clear, I don't mind that. Seriously, some of my favorite pieces of art are hardcore sellout, and if Sonic had succeeded, I think only good things would have happened to the brand. But the reason I call it hardcore sellout instead of widening the brand is because it didn't work out exactly how they wanted to. Sega decided to listen to fans and not fans of what Sonic should be. And even though that sounds nice in theory, Sega ruined it, and I'm gonna explain why. Using waifus, Xena and Styx the Badger. I bundled these two because, oddly enough, They both actually help highlight the potential and mismanagement of said potential in the meta era, starting with Xena. Xena is one of the Deadly Six, a group of enemies introduced in Sonic Lost World, the game that came right after Generation, in which Sega signed a contract to make games exclusive for the Nintendo Wii U. Problem number 1 right there. But this is about the games. Xena was the only female member of the Deadly Six, and while her design isn't exactly the Sonic base, I like to consider her an evolution of the Sally Rouge design thing I mentioned. If I'm being honest, I don't see her as out of place as many other people have said she is. That might be biased, but you know, my opinion. Now let's talk about what really made Xena and the Deadly Six really unpopular among the fandom. Now I don't know Ken Pontac and Y.I.F.F personally, they might be great persons, I don't know, but I will say this. Pontac and Graff should have never been hired to write anything related to Sonic ever, and whoever hired them, I hope lost their job in one of the many Sega restructures. The writing in Sonic Lost World is horrible, not only in the story, but the actual dialogue and character are just really bad from a writing standpoint. And Xena is a prime example of this. She is just a bunch of girl stereotypes with no nuance, irony, not even comedy. And it's not like she couldn't be something. I don't think the Deadly Six are as out of place in the Sonic universe as most people say, but still, as they are today, nobody likes them and nobody is going to like them because they don't have anything relevant or interesting to say, as much as they keep reappearing over and over for no reason. The other character I feel embodied the problem with Sonic in the 2010s is Styx the Badger, a character created specifically for Sonic Boom, and that's a whole other mess I don't want to get into. But other than Sonic Boom being a, let's be generous and say, flawed idea from the get-go, it didn't have to end up as what will be forever remembered as an embarrassing failure. And Styx hold all of that potential. She has a slightly design change from the Sonic base, all for the better. She's a character that is meant to be funny more than anything, and is break from the other characters, mainly the female ones. And honestly, that's in itself a testament of how diverse and flexible Sonic and its great cast of characters can be. They really tried to push her as a character, and they still do today, which I'm thankful for. But again, Sonic in the 2010s, as good as it could have been, and as much good as it did, Sega just keep squandering it over and over again. By overexposure and not understanding why they work in the first place, the reason most people hate the 2010s of Sonic right now is proof that yes, you can get too much of a good thing. I don't wanna end this video on a sad note, even though that's how the 2010s for Sonic ended up. But the good thing is, it wasn't the end for Sonic, not by a long shot. We know very little about the next Sonic game or the current direction of Sonic as a franchise. And what we know by now is not really that exciting. But we're still waiting. And that says way more than I could ever say. We're still waiting. The late 90s, 06, Sonic Boom. We're still waiting. And mostly we will keep waiting. Why? Because we care about Sonic. A lot of people cares about Sonic. It matters a lot to a lot of different people in different ways. I care about Sonic. Sonic helped me find something about myself I don't think I would know without him, and I'm very thankful for it. I wish I could have a more climactic ending about hope or the future, but I honestly, personally, don't think that while Sonic is under Sega, will ever be as good as it should be. I'm not gonna pretend they're the worst company out there, they're just incompetent and have mishandled the IP for a long time. I'm not sure what, but I just wanna see something change. But no matter what I think, one thing is obvious. No matter what the future holds, no matter the jokes, the fans or the management, Sonic will keep running. Like Forrest Gump. I got nothing else, I'm gonna end on that joke. Peace.